We know that off-road camper trailers make great sense, but I challenge anybody to go to a big four-wheel drive or caravan show and come away not being absolutely bamboozled about what is on offer. I mean, choosing a four-wheel drive is tough enough, but choosing a camper trailer is nigh on impossible. So what do? Well, here's my top 5 tips for a successful purchase. First, have a good idea of the basic features that you're going to need in your camper trailer. Make sure your camper trailer has a name that you've actually heard of. Construction. If you're going off-road, you want a really tough off-road camper trailer. That means you need things like a long drawbar, very sturdy suspension, a super tough chassis, and things like door seals and window seals are really, really important. Next up, check if other people have gone where you want to go on your travels in the sort of camper trailer that you're intending to buy. Now, after all of the sensible stuff is done, I'd recommend that you actually shop with your heart. Now, at the moment, we're road testing the Cub Brumby model. For me, it pretty much ticks all of the boxes for a solid buy. My favourite feature is always the quick Cub setup. You'll set this one up in half the time of most tents, and it can be done with just one person. Come on in and let's have a look. So you've got a comfy double bed and plenty of room for gear or kids' beds on the floor. Now, up until a few years ago, you could only buy leaf spring Cub campers, but now there's another option. You can also specify independent suspension. If you can stretch, go for it. The ride is awesome. The way the trailer tracks and soaks up the bumps is simply brilliant. Up front, you've got your trig hitch, which of course can articulate at just about any angle. So it's beaut in rough off-road terrain. There's a really nice long drawbar too, and that makes for better towing, but also much easier backing. Your 2 jerry cans of fuel or water live up front, as do the gas bottles. And behind that is the thumping big storage box. This one has a fridge slide built into one side, while the other side is great for storing tools or spare parts or whatever you like. It's all well sealed too, so you won't have any problems there. There's also another storage drawer on the driver's side. Your kitchen slides out behind the fridge, and with a 2-burner stove, a sink and a small bench, you'll be set to go. For longer stays, you can whip out an awning too, but there's truckloads of different options like solar power and batteries. And they're some of the things that this model is fitted with. I really like this Cub Brumby. It's lightweight, but it's certainly not light duty. And I also think that it represents pretty awesome value. Look at this. Underneath the River Red Gum on the banks of the Cooper Creek. This is Clancy of the overflow country, folks. Now, in the four-wheel drive game, you tend to really respect fellow travellers if they've been to places that you haven't, particularly if those places are rugged and really remote. Now, I've got someone I'd like you to meet that has done their fair share of off-road travel and has done some pretty serious tracks. Crossed the Nullarbor, gone up the Canning stock route, come down the Tanami, done the Red Centre, not once but twice, crossed the Simpson Desert, done the east coast and the west coast of Tasmania, Coffs Coast, and has chosen most of the most rugged four-wheel drive tracks everywhere he's gone. The person I'd like you to meet, well, maybe calling him a person is a little bit too far stretched, but it is the Cub Supermatic Escape XTD. This camper trailer has been with us, my family, and the crew that shoots the show for the entire period. Let me take you for a little tour. So up the front of the camper trailer, we've got our off-road tree hitch. Just behind it here is our stone deflector. Now, anyone who travels any amount of off-road dirt roads is going to appreciate these things. What it does, this material, is it absorbs the rock impact and then pushes it back into the ground. So not a bad option. And the beauty of these things too is they are a bit disposable, so after sort of probably 3 or 4 years on the road, it could be time to replace them. You simply unbolt them and throw a new patch on. Behind them, we've got a couple of jerry can holders and a couple of gas bottles. This box here is very handy. It houses our fridge in here on a fridge slide. That's where we throw our ARB fridge freezer. And on the other side, that's where we put our toolboxes and assorted spare parts and that sort of stuff. Now we come to the business end. The kitchen lives in here. This little kitchen has been catering for our crew and our family for quite a while on the road. Before we go and show you inside the camper, I want to have a quick chat about the underside. Now, I've always been a fan of leaf spring suspension because it's a sort of suspension that is very basic and you can always repair it in the bush. But I thought, well, no, we're grabbing the latest and greatest Cub camper trailer here. We better try out their new independent suspension. And I tell you what, haven't been disappointed one bit. It is set up absolutely beautifully. It really does glide over the lumps and bumps. It really works a treat. Now when you're out in the bush, and particularly if you happen to be filming a TV show, you want to make sure that your setup and your pack up are also very quick. And that is where these hard floor campers like the Cub Supermatic comes in. They are very, very quick to set up. The first step is to unclip the latches. Then you simply wind out the winch all the way. With the help of the gas struts, it folds out nice and flat. Then just secure the legs, clip in the press studs, and tighten up the poles inside, and you're set. Of course, if you're staying for a little longer, you can pop up the annex and also a few more extensions, depending on what you specify at the time of purchase. Inside is great and it's really comfortable. There's plenty of storage underneath the bed, and we often carry a self-inflating mattress that we simply throw out on the floor, and that's where the kids sleep. Really, where this camper trailer shines is in its value for money. It's roughly half the price of some of the more expensive camper trailers out there, yet it will take you to all of those fantastic off-road locations that we love to go. In every camper's life, there comes a time when they yearn for something a little more comfortable, something that lets them get away from it all, but lets them get away from it in style. Enter the Cub Space Van Driver. The culmination of over 40 years of camper trailer design led Cub to this exercise in off-road decadence. Now, as you probably know, Cub do have loads of different camper trailer models, from lightweight on-road models right through to serious off-road weapons. The Space Van Driver sits proudly at the top of the off-road range, and its features list is as long as your arm. Yes, you'll find all of the regular Cub features like the trig coupling, the LED tail lights, and the famous super fast flip-top setup. But it's the rest of the standard features that set this model apart from the rest. For a start, there's alloy wheels and independent suspension. Now, I've used this exact type of suspension myself before extensively in the past, and I can tell you it works like an absolute charm. Also standard is the deluxe awning and wall, and this beaut roll-up sidewall. But it doesn't stop there. Inside you'll find a massive 3-way fridge, which can be powered by gas, 240 volts, or by the standard deep cycle battery. Plus there's an inner spring mattress, 12-volt water pump, and it's connected to a massive 127-litre water tank. Now, on a lot of camper trailers, it's those hidden extras that really hit you in the hip pocket. But that's not going to happen with the Space Van Driver. Included as standard is a 4-burner stove and grill, a roll-out pantry, not 1 but 2, a couple of gas bottles, a fully galvanised chassis, a pole carrier, stone guard, a fridge box on the drawbar with a slide for a second-hand fridge. There's an off-road hitch and even a swing rack off the back. I mean, this thing even has an Aussie-made barbecue that slides out the side. How handy is that? Cooking outdoors. So other than, I don't know, aircon, there's not a lot missing. But you know, the beauty of buying a brand that's been around for over 40 years is that they hold their resale value remarkably well. And let's face it, a camper trailer is an investment like any other asset. So when it eventually comes time to trade up, you'll be in a solid position because buyers will have actually heard of the brand you're selling. Not to mention, you've got yourself a quality rig that will last no matter what you throw at it. Well, I hope you like the Cub Driver Space Van. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to go and enjoy it. See you later.